Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the second session of the service track. I am Amy Collins, publisher of Boating Industry Magazine, and we're really happy to have you here at the 2014 Marine Dealer Conference and Expo. At this time, I'd like to recognize the sponsor of the Continental Breakfast, CDK Global Recreation. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. Just a quick reminder before we move on to our topic, the MDC app is available for you to connect with your pals and your friends out there. Is that me? As in the case of the past 3 years, Dominion Marine Media has once again sponsored the Best Ideas panel. Please join me in welcoming Courtney Chalmers, the Vice President of Marketing from Dominion Marine Media, to introduce the next session.
Thanks, Amy. Dominion Marine Media has proudly sponsored the Best Ideas panel for about 3 years now. And over the years, we've heard many of you and heard from many of you and heard your great ideas, ranging from appointment apps to owners' events that promote the boating lifestyle. These great ideas have one common thread, and that's to make your customers happy and to create the best experience for them. Today, we have an opportunity to improve the boat buying experience, the way that Uber has changed the transportation industry. Now, we don't have to be Uber, but we can't afford to be the next taxi company. Dominion Marine Media is doing our part by making consumer-driven changes to Boat Trader, Yacht World, and Boats.com. I'm looking really forward to hearing from this group of experts about what they've been up to. After all, these are the best ideas in the industry. So let's get started. The editor-in-chief of Boating Industry Magazine is on hand to moderate today's panel. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Jonathan Sweet.
Thanks, everyone. As I said, or Courtney said, I will be moderating today's panel, and we've got 4 great panelists here to talk to you today. From Hall Marine Group, we have Matt Salhorst to talk about how he leverages online reviews. From Clark Marine, down there at the end, we have Rob Brown, and he's going to share with us the company's innovative boat delivery folder and boat delivery process. Chuck Guthrie, right there next to Rob, from Lynnhaven Marine, is here to talk about his company's process for enhancing service department revenue. And finally, we have Christina Prober of Seattle Boat Company to talk about their unique boat pooling partnership they launched. So all 4 of these ideas come from submissions to our annual Best Ideas competition, which is sponsored by Dominion, and they were chosen as finalists for Best Idea of the Year. The Best Idea of the Year, though, will be chosen by those of you in this room by voting on the little ballot you should have in front of you on your table. So when everyone has spoken at the end here, before you leave, please make sure you fill that out, and then the winner will be recognized at tomorrow morning's awards breakfast. And one last note then, the best ideas will all be gathered in our Best Ideas white paper, which will be available for download from boatingindustry.com in January. And they'll not include not only what these folks have submitted, but all the other best ideas that were submitted to the program as well. One note about questions and answers, because we want to make sure we get every panelist gets a chance to talk. Please hold your questions till all 4 have spoken. We should have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. And with that, I'll hand things off to Matt.
Thank you. How you doing? I'm Matt Selhorst. I did a session earlier, and I want to announce the winner for the free iPad, and it is Buckeye Marine J Poole. So if you're here, you just want an iPad. All right. So my idea. Let's see how this works. So let me tell you a quick story. Thinking about going to a steakhouse last night, and I decided, all right, where am I going to go? So I talked to this guy, and he happened to be the owner of a place called Hank's Steakhouse. I said, hey, where can I go to get a great ribeye? He said, well, my steakhouse, it's fantastic. We've got the best steaks in town. I was like, okay, well, that sounds like a pretty good place. But as I was walking around, I ran into a dealer from Orlando, and he said, hey, what are you doing for dinner tonight? I said, I'm going to Hank's. So I go and I check out the Hank's review page on Google, and I get there, or Jack's. I get in my my things mixed up. And they had a 2.9 score on Google reviews. Now, Jack, the owner, said, we've got the greatest steaks. And I get to their Google review, and they got a 2.9 ranking. What are my thoughts? Well, that's not very good. And I see the comments that, beef and tuna were both subpar quality. I start reading more of the reviews, and the first page is okay, some 5s. There's a 2 in there. I get to the next page, and it says, food was good, but not a great value. Took an hour to bring out my steak, and it was completely overcooked. Everything is good except for the cheap meat used. So what do? Go online to Google, and I search steakhouses in the area, and I find one that's got a 4.6 rating. Now, what does that story have to do with us in the boat business? Well, our consumers today are going online, and they're reviewing us, aren't they? Does everybody have some Google reviews that they know about out on the internet? Anybody? Well, I promise you have some. And the ones that are going out there right now, if you don't have a proactive strategy, they're probably the negative ones, because it's the people that have the worst experience that are going to scream the loudest from the mountaintop. And now that mountaintop, it's Google reviews. So how can you take advantage of this? Take advantage of the fact that what others say about you is 100 times more powerful and persuasive than what you say about you. So you get a strategy to add Google reviews to help your happy clients sell for you. So who in here has at least 100 happy clients? Raise your hands. Okay. Who has 1,000 happy clients? Man, you guys need to work on your service. That's what it's doing a great job is going to help you. If you don't do a great job, you've got to fix that first. But let's take a look at when your customers go online, what do they see? Because that's important to this. When they Google boat dealers, and I was at Hall Marine, boat dealers in Lake Wylie, these are the 2 search results that come up. Now, with the Google reviews, if you don't have many, you see that one of our competitors, Boat Sales of Wylie, had 3 Google reviews. And Lake Wylie Marina, which is a Hall Marine dealership, has a 4.6 and 17 Google reviews. If that's the only thing they know about us as a dealership, I automatically have a leg up over my competition, don't I? Because they see that, oh, not only does he have more reviews, he's got a high star rating, and I instantly get higher credibility than my competition. When they Google you by name, when they Google your business by name, your Google business page comes up. Again, they can see the 4.6 rating and the 17 Google reviews and a little summary, just like I had at Jack's Steakhouse. They get that summary, and those are all very positive. When they click into those, you can see that there's a bunch of reviews, and they're very long and they're very detailed. I'll read the one from Jessica Fowler. Purchased my Sea Ray 190 Sport from Matt at Lake Wylie Marina. It was a great experience. Matt Selhorst and Larry Bunch worked as a team to find transport and let us test extensively the boat we purchased. They took the extra time to schedule us on the boat, or to educate us on the boat, and actually travel to our house to make sure it fit on our dock. There was never any pressure, and we're totally satisfied with the experience. We were also pleased with the price. They found every possible discount to make it affordable. The boat's been great, and Matt's checked with us several times to make sure things were going well. And you got Kay Resendez, you got Chris Lewis, who I talked about in my presentation this morning. You keep going, 5-star, 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 Scott Munn, Janet Kaplan. I wish I'd only purchased my new Yamaha years ago. You keep going. And they're all positive, and they're all customers that are giving glowing reviews of our dealership. Now, the reason I came up with this strategy is 5 years ago, you see at the bottom, where's the 0 rating? Long story short, don't take your boat here. Incompetency isn't even the word. You think we were twisting their arm and inconveniencing them to no end by bringing our boat and paying them to fix it. Those are the type of reviews. If you don't have an active strategy, those are the type of customers that are putting reviews up. Now, what you don't know is that he had a 1962 outboard that he wanted to run like a new 4-stroke, and he was upset that we couldn't get parts. But he doesn't say that on his review, and when customers see it, they've got no idea that was the experience. So to push those negative ones down and to put just glowing reviews up, what I call a preponderance of social proof, a preponderance of proof that we're the best dealer to work with, I came up with a strategy to generate these leads, because we know unless we have a strategy, our happy customers just aren't going to do it. You know, they kind of expect you to give great service, and they don't think about going online. So how do you do it? There's 2 simple steps to do it. The first thing is you have to do a great job. That's why I asked who's got happy clients, because if you don't have happy clients, the strategy is not going to work, and you're going to get those negative ones just because they're upset, and that's where they go. And then I used a simple text email. So I'm going to give you the email right here. Subject line: Bob, can you do me a quick favor? Bob, I hope you've been enjoying your boat on the water. Let me know if I can do anything to make it a fun summer. Also, would you do me a favor? Would you post a review on Google for Hall Marine and me? Just click the link below to post, giving some specifics about your experience. So many people go online to check us out now. I'd really appreciate it if you could take 5 minutes and post something. Click the link below to add the review, and then there's a link to the Google review page. If you're not sure what to write, check out what Pam Smith or answer these questions. Why'd you buy your boat from Matt and Hall Marine and other dealers? Why'd you buy your boat versus other manufacturers? What surprised you about your experience, and why do you love boating? Thanks again for the online review. I'd love to see a picture of you guys enjoying your boat from my wall of fame. Let me know if I can do anything else to be of service. Your friend in boating, Matt Selhorst. Now, all of those reviews that you saw online came from this simple email. I did a great job, which I'm sure everybody in this room does. One step I didn't tell you is I make a call about a week beforehand, and I say, hey, Mrs. Fowler, this is Matt. Want to make sure everything's going real well with your boat. Anything I can do to be of service? No, Matt, we love it, man. We've been out on it. We had a great time this past weekend, and about a week later, I send this email. If I make that call and they say, you know what, Matt, we got some issues with the boat. This hatch is loose. There's something rattling. There's something jiggling. We got a scratch. Hey, no problem. Let me get you set up with our service department. We'll get that taken care of for you right away. Do I send the email? No, I wait till we get that all fixed, and I call her back, and I say, hey, how's everything now? Oh, it's fantastic. And then I send this email. So what I've done is I've qualified my prospects, but I've made sure they are having a great experience. So when I ask them for a favor, they're going to do it for me. And then I teach them how to give a great testimonial. If they don't know how, they've got an example to follow. Pam Smith was one of the first clients I did. She was a sales trainer, and she knew how to write persuasive stuff. She knew how to give good information in a testimonial. So I used that as a baseline. And then I gave them questions to answer so they knew what type of information I want, so they didn't go out and just put, hey, Matt did a great job. We were really happy with the boat. You can see that mine were really long and really detailed. And it came from that, doing a great job and using this simple email. And that got all 17 of those online reviews. This is something I truly believe. What others say about you is 100 times more powerful and persuasive than what you say about you. So the reason these work so well is it's not because your salespeople are saying we do a great job. Your salesperson isn't saying we've got the best manufacturers. It's your happy clients that are saying it on your behalf, and what they say is much more believable than what any salesperson can say, and it has a dramatic impact on the margins that you can hold and the kind of the branding of your overall dealership. So that's my idea. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt. With that, we're going to hand it off to Rob. Should just be the next slide there for you, Rob. You got it?
Which one do you click?
There we go.
Hi, I'm Rob Brown. I want to thank everybody here who was instrumental in inviting me. I went low-tech this year. We do a lot of online. We do a lot of follow-up. We do a lot of mailing. We use our website. We send emails. We do a variety of things to interact on the internet, and we reach out to people. But this last year, I felt that we wanted to build something for the company, and that we could use as a sales tool as we spoke with people at boat shows. I brought a few folders with me, kind of, I hate to say it, what I had left over for the season. We're revamping it with some of the scoreboard numbers. There's about 75 or so, and if you pass them around, if you want to take them with you, you're welcome to. But mid-last summer, we were at one of our favorite restaurants down in Scarborough, Maine, and I saw this menu. Simple. And I got a little inspiration. And then last year, I said, you know, we can do this. This is something that we can just reference. It's pretty easy. How many of you here are proud of the dealership you work at? That's a great number, and I'm glad. And that doesn't surprise me with the quality of the people that are here today. How many of you have a story to tell your customers? That you're standing at a boat show, something to complement that conversation that you can put in front of them. I'm a month shy of 55. Now, my fan belt probably isn't as tight as it used to be. And I think, is there anybody else here who maybe stumbles on a word every now and then? You're opening up your iPad. See, there are a few people, I know. You'll probably hear me stumble on a word or two up here. I take out my iPad, I take out a tablet, I go on the internet, and I find myself working to go to, say, the new Mercury app. And I'm trying to fumble my way through it, and I find myself more times when I'm working with a customer. Chuck, you're the customer today, thanks. I'm kind of fumbling through, and I'm beginning to show them how to use the app and not talk about the criteria. So what we created was a quick menu, and that's what we have here. Front page. It's simple. It has our contact information. It's colorful. It's easy in your hands. It's a brochure. Every company that's out on this floor has a brochure, has a flyer of some sort. We deal with a lot of different age groups now. A few years ago at this, we learned a little bit about millennials, we learned about the Gen Xers, and of course, the boomers. And a big piece of our business, our clientele, bordering 60 to 70%, is still boomers. I'm a boomer. I'm right at the end. I love to hold a brochure. I like to sit in my chair at night. Sure, I'm online, I'm doing the things, but I still have, I like to hold something. I like to see that visual. I like the feel of it. So we decided to put something that would help us. And if you open that up, basically here's the information inside. This is really the nuggets. This is the meat of the whole that's on the bone. We start out with telling people exactly who we are. What do we do? A very regional company. I don't want to sell or service anything outside 30 or 40 miles. I don't do a good job there. I live in central Maine. I have 3 facilities, and I service everything in that. If I were to expand again, I guarantee it would be within 8 or 10 miles. I would build another service facility of my primary facility. I don't need to be in 5 different places and spread myself out. That's what I do. That's my business model. The statement there, I'm a thief. I'll be the first one to offer you. Don't leave your wallet on the table, okay? Our piece, our business vision there, our mission statement, I played golf here a few years ago and at Orange County National. And I found myself going down to get my cart. And inside that area, where the guys who were cleaning the carts and taking care of the clubs, there's this mission statement. And I stole it, and I modified it and brought it back. I put it on the wall and said, doesn't this make sense to us, guys? This is what we should be looking at every single time we come in contact with a customer. We want to wow you guys. We want to make sure that when their visit is done, that they go back and they tell every one of their friends and family just how fantastic their experience was. We set the bar immediately with, man, I hope this guy and I hope these people can live up to this. Everybody in the company has that statement in their mind. They know it, and they can refer to it, and they know what their job is when people come in. It's written right there. This is all over our dealership. Other things we do, we set this up last year. I came here. I had an idea, and I brought people into the conversation. And there were a number of speakers here last year that really influenced this. David Arvin was one, talking about competitive advantages. Sam Danzler has had a piece in this. Other people have helped me with this as far as what to put across. What information is there? if you look at it and look closely, it's not a we're better than my competitor. It's about who we are. I got back to, you guys have a story to tell. This is our story. These are the things that we do. And when we're talking with a new client, new customer, prospective customer at a boat show, we're able to take this and we are able to open it up and we start talking to them about some of the problems we can solve for them. How many of you have, people are looking for a boat, but are they just looking for a boat? What are they looking for? They're looking to change their life. They're looking to keep their kids playing with them instead of the neighbors. We need to develop that excitement, but there's a certain amount of work that goes with that, isn't there? You have to have a mooring, you have to have a dock, you have to have a place to put it, at ease to use it. You have to have somebody to call if things don't work just right. What if you want to expand on the canvas? What if you want to repair canvas that's old? Simon Sinek wrote a book, and Liz introduced it last year, Start With Why. That influenced a lot of what's in this and how we trimmed our focus down to, we're a freshwater boat company. We sell pontoons up to 24 or 26. That's a big boat for us. 18 and 20-foot runabouts. Great line of fishing boats. That's what we focus on. That's our customer base. And we cater to that particular customer, that freshwater lakes region customer. And those things we feel are the most important. We created a few of these things. We put them on storyboards, had my entire group get together. How many of you guys have team building exercises throughout the winter, throughout your off season? How many of you have been involved? How many take a real active role in doing that? How important is that if you're an employee or even the principal, how is it important as a principal that you get your staff on board with everything you do in the place? How important is that to you? Important? High? Low? High? Yeah. It's almost necessary. We put out the storyboards and we said, guys, what do we want to put in this? So we have pictures of, we're never going to win any of the most handsome guy in the world awards here. But we're hoping that the quality of the product that we provide for you is going to speak for itself. There are a few things there. You can see a little bit of our facility pictures. We do want to drive people and use this as a tool and interact on the internet. We have reviews, we have all of those things. We have a Survey Says page on our website. The Services Our Business has a QR tile there. It goes immediately. If you use that QR tile, it will go to a page on Right Now, which is selling our service packages, our fall service packages. From that link, you'll find basically a rundown of all of our service prices, our menu prices, our hour per price, as to what we work, so that you're seeing what the business is and what your costs are going to be up front. It helps to pre-qualify a little bit. I'm not afraid of that. If you look at my website, all my boats are priced too. Everything is there. Somebody can make a little bit of a pre-decision, and you give them a little bit on, for having their own intelligence to make the decision to start with. This is our starting price. Can you work with it or not? The bottom line, there's a storm thing we do. We don't like to make money off of people's shortcomings. If we got a storm coming through, we pull boats, we put them back in. We don't want to overcharge people for that. We want to make that a convenience and make sure they know they have somebody who has their back. The scoreboard is something that took a little while to put together. The QR tile goes to a Survey Says page. This one probably is the most work of all of that. My wife has developed a terrific follow-up system that we all use. We have three cards, really. They're very simple. They have 4, 5, 6 questions on them. They're pre-addressed. They have a stamp on them. We send them out with thank you letters, touch people at certain times throughout the year. We send service customers. We run about, we put out somewhere between 800 and 900 of these a year. We enjoy about a 50% return rate. If you use your phones, you go on that QR tile, you go to that Survey Says page. Some of the things are not all that pleasing. But whatever people tell us, we put it down, and we score ourselves on that. The numbers that you see in there are things that we feel that are important. And what is our retention rate on our storage packages? These are the numbers that it's then again not we're better because, it's basically, how many of you guys have good competitors? Decent people. Maybe your kids go to school with them. They're decent people. We've got a number of competitors. They have nice facilities. This is a David Arvin type thing. He kind of brought this up last year, that if we were to go out of business within a couple of weeks, maybe a month, people are going to find the next best choice in that area. And in a year, they're going to forget you. This isn't saying we're better than anybody else. It's just telling you at what level we're working at. And all of these numbers either come off of our run charts or they come off of these surveys that we send out. So that part of it, I think it would be just as well with that or without, but we felt we had these numbers. We've got an accumulation of 3 years' results. We decided to use them. They're an average of that. Some of them have gone up, and this year's revision will include some of that. Simon Sinek's in there already. David Arvin is in there already. This is a back page. We put a few reviews in there. We had a number of them to choose from. Our history is there. I think that somewhat is important to boomers. I like to know that a company's been around a long time. You've weathered a lot of ups and downs. We're here. Some of the things also the Simon Sinek put in input. The water quality groups, we started looking at who we really support, and we found that these 5 groups are important to our customers, and they match what we are all about. And we decided to put those in. And of course the comments in there. There's one that I kind of especially like. There's one gentleman up in the top corner, the young man, he's working with my sales manager, Bruce, and he talks about basically he had been to a couple of other dealerships, and because of his age, they really didn't give him time of day. He came in, he had cut-off sweat, T-shirt on. He bought a $10,000 used boat. He's a construction worker and came in cash. So you can't judge a book by its cover. So, I did have a little input in this. It was put together. I decided we should have 4 of them. So if we're working with somebody with a pontoon, we make sure we take the brochures at a boat show. There's a couple of different sizes. This is a larger size. When we're at a boat show, this is the one we use. And we put everybody's brochures in there. We sell Avalon pontoons, but if they happen to have a Godfrey or a Tracker or whatever, we invite them to put all their brochures right inside. Our name stays on the front, stays on the back. When they take it home, put it in the bag, come home, put it on the counter. Our name is up front. They're looking at a pontoon. It has a pontoon on the front. They're looking at an aluminum fishing boat. There are choices there. We try to make sure we mentally match that. How it works best for us in our showrooms, we've had this all around our showroom. We've had it in a variety of sizes. We made one this size. For the guy who doesn't want a brochure, he just wants the contact information. It's a large business card. It's the same thing. You fold it in half, they stick it in the back pocket, take it home. They've got our basically in a large business card, and it tells a little bit about the company they're looking to deal with. It's worked very effectively. We use it in our delivery process too, but one of the things that Jonathan had thrown at me, of course, when we first started talking about this, and said, well, can you give me any criteria? Do you have any numbers? Has it helped you? How has it helped your bottom line? And it's a good question, because we can do the most elaborate things in the world, but if they don't turn into money, how do they help us? And I guess I don't have anything that I can put 100% tangible other than through the end of November, we've used this. We've sold about 12 more boats this year than we did last year. We've only raised our gross 8.3%. We've raised our net margin, though, by 2.1%. And for us, that equates to about $67,000 through the end of October. That's a net number. That's a tangible number. Now, is that a better economy? I know this has helped, because we can pull all of the electronics aside, and then, Chuck, it just becomes a relationship. And we can look at this menu, and we can point at things that are important to us, and I don't have to fumble around with my phone. I don't have to worry about my having a screen up, and all of a sudden it goes to my screensaver, and then I'm fumbling with that, and it breaks the concentration of the customer. We're able to communicate together and build that relationship and saying, here's our menu, folks. What is it we can do to solve your problems? We want you to have your kids playing with you instead of playing with the neighbors. We want you out on those evenings with a toddy. Those are the things that we're trying to do for you. Service-wise, the last year was the biggest year we'd had, and I gauge that as part of our track and trend with our 5-star, is how many work orders did we create? And last year we created 2235. Last Thursday, my service writer came to me, and we had created our 3,000th work order for the year. And I know right now we're running about 1,000, 1,500 billed hours ahead of where we were last year. And kind of tight facility, and it may be time to expand that a little bit. So I think this has helped in the fact that having everybody on board, now my technicians, my parts people, all have had a part in this. They have ownership to this, and they're using it, and they're talking to their friends, they're talking to everybody they come into contact with. We do that. We do this. Parts people know better what's going in the shop. Shop people know what's better going into the store. Yes, we sell that kind of boat. You guys should come on down. And it's expanded in every one of our departments. So those are the only tangibles I have at this point. To use it in another way, Sam Danzler's input in this. Never stop selling until the customer tells you no. We've sold the boat. We've got a new relationship. We're sitting down. We're going through their new boat owner packet with them. We sit down. The sales contract goes in this guy. We have a new jacket we use. We put in a letter that has an introduction to all of our frontline people. And then we'll walk around and introduce as we go as part of it. This is not a conversation about the delivery process. Marine Industry Bill of Rights goes in there. This is a safety check sheet. Starts a great conversation on what you have to have in your boat. For the newcomers and even people who haven't, these are what they're looking at. Never stop selling. This is our storage package. We've grown our storage over the last 4 or 5 years from 300 storage boats to about 525. If you guys, I know you people store boats here, that's real money. My average service package runs about $1,200, and it's a 70% margin. And as many of those as I can sell, I'll keep building buildings. We set and we give them a quote while we're setting down, and we're selling those services. We're going to continue on. We have our own PDI. We go over that with them. That goes in. We encourage people to take this home. This is a little bit frivolous, but we take this particular piece, we put it in a Ziploc bag, we put their temporary plate in it along with some business cards, and we physically put it in their glove box. And of course, it's going to stay there. If they're having any conversations with their friends about how much they enjoy their boat, here's the people I bought it for. I don't even have to remember why I bought it. I'm loving it. Here's a piece of paper. Go ahead and read it if you like. It has a few pieces as to why you should do business with Clark Marine. At least it's a point of presentation. We end up putting everything in a nice bag. It goes along with it. The folder goes on the outside. Then again, nice presentation. Here's about a dozen or so deliveries we had this summer. You can see some green bags throughout there. It's worked very effectively for us. My sales manager, my business partner, we tend to be a little older. We're boomers. This works for us because it gives us a blotter to put out in front of ourselves, and we can point at things. And people use it as a menu. It works for us. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Rob. We're going to have Chuck go ahead and talk a little about the service department now.
I want to know if I get to keep the bag because I was the customer then, right?
If you default right now, yeah. Go get him, buddy.
Good morning, everybody. It is a good morning. Everybody see the gentleman in orange last night? Wasn't he good? I'm going to admit something. I cried when that little boy hugged his dad's grave. It was tough. But it was great. They were really good. I'm going to be a little more focused on my subject. What is the one thing you can never get back? What is the one thing you can never get back? The lost hour of a billable time for a tech, right? If he loses an hour, it's lost. Can't get it back, tough to get it back, the hour is gone. We've all gone to Spader, 20 groups. Everybody's been to Valerie's classes. Don Cooper, I can go on and on. I've been going to him for a long, long time. One of the things we get is hundreds of ideas here. Hundreds. You go back, it's almost impossible to implement them all. But one thing I've learned that you need to take the idea and put it into your culture. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my culture at Lynn Haven Marine. This is a facility, our dry storage, boat sales down on the left. We have 8,500 registered boaters within 10 miles. 8,500. A lot of potential business there, a lot. Last year, we did 2013, 2,811 work orders. We did $1.3 million in just plain retail labor. We also did 1.2.5 in parts on work orders, plus we have a lot of over-counter. So a lot's going on there. This is a little dark. This gives you an idea of our service area. We have 13 service bays, 2.5 service riders. I have 3 double master techs. I have a multitude of certified techs. I have 2 glass people, 2 riggers, apprentices. I even found ways to help bill some of my helpers and my apprentices, like I'm sure a lot of you have done. Not to mention, as we all have, boat bottom painters, detailers, subcontractors that do tops welding. So, I mean, we have a lot of service going on there. That dry storage holds 600 boats, and it's pretty full most of the time. Not to mention the 8,500 people within 10 miles. So what am I talking about in this presentation? One of the things we all hear about a lot, and I don't like using this word, but it's an upselling of service work. Somebody comes in and wants something, and you look for something else. Well, we look at it a different way, and this is why we've been successful at that, is we look at upselling as making a customer happy. Now you say, how can I make a guy happier by increasing his bill? Well, what you're doing, like a lot of us, we have short seasons. Guy comes in for one job, and you find another problem that would ruin his weekend, and he doesn't know about it, but you find it, you tell him about it, you fix it, you got a happy customer. So we look at it from that standpoint. Nothing new. That's not a new idea. We all do that. All my techs do that. When we started putting this concept that I'm going to paint for you here in a minute, all my techs said we do this. So we look hard for ways to find other issues with boats. And we all had the service rider walk out and do the walk around, right? Everybody's done that. There's nothing new about that. We have this cute little form. When the guy arrives by a trailer, we complete this form. Usually a service rider goes out and does this. And if the service riders are busy, and mine tend to stay busy a lot, especially in season, we'll send out an apprentice or even a helper. And we always seem to find something. One of our biggest things is trailer inspection. But, we're from Virginia, so you have to inspect trailers. But the point here is the customer is glad to see that we're pointing out things. So we're being attentive. And you know what? The key point here is once you walk around a boat with a customer, it makes him think of other issues than he just came here for. He might have come just to have a winterization, but then he says, oh yeah, by the way. Oh yeah, by the way. So we usually always find something here. Our next form is, since we're on the water and we have a dry storage, a lot of our service comes by water. And so a boat gets dropped off, and we move everything around by forklifts. We have 5 big Wiggins forklifts. But my forklift drivers now are trained to look at the same thing as service writer. A guy comes in on a Sunday, service is closed. He's going to do the same thing. So what this is it's the back of one of the forms they use in the dry storage. And if they see anything, they document it and turn it into the service writers. So we got another part of the team helping us. Here's something else that's not a new idea. We all do this, right? It's called a customer bill of rights. Somebody comes in, it sort of tells them what we're going to do and how we're going to communicate with them and what they can expect of us. It also says what we expect of them. So and this is an idea that's been around a long time. What's new that we've added to this thing is that we find something. And what we're doing on the bottom, which you can see, we're asking permission to replace things we find wrong during our complimentary check. Everybody has a complimentary check in their service department. At least you should be doing a complimentary check in your service department. And again, this makes customers think of stuff, and almost everybody fills this out, and almost everybody has some issue. Okay. Here is our complimentary checklist. Everybody's got these. At least you should have these. Where is this printed? On the other side of this yellow form is where the tech, while he's in the boat, makes his notes. Everybody has tech notes. All this stuff obviously ends up in a computer, but everything starts on this form. This is basic. There's nothing new on this list. Where the meat and potatoes is of this thing is in the comments. Once you establish a culture of everyone in your marina or every one of your techs or your service writers or your boatel people looking for stuff, they tend to expand on this. I don't think probably 75% of everybody that comes in, there's something we find on this complimentary check. One of the things we do with this is we encourage the techs, as they find these issues, is to bring them to the service writer while we're working on the boat. Because how many times during the summer you're trying to get it done, you want to get it finished, and the techs just keep right on working. We say, wait a minute, please stop, bring this in, let us call the customer so that you can continue to get some of this done. We actually have a 15-minute review period at the end of every day where all of these things are put together to make sure we have contacted the customer to see if he is going to approve additional work. Okay. Again, nothing new. Test run checklist. Another form, but how many people test run boats? We all test run boats. The more severe the issue, the more need to test run the boat. We take this form, I don't care if we're running a brokered boat, we're running a new boat, we're running a boat that's been in for work. We always take this form, no matter what reason. We're kind of blessed. Our facility, we have these 12-minute to 15-minute no-wake zones. It's a great time for the tech to be looking at other issues on the boat. And it's amazing what you'll find. The guy comes in and you fix something, and all of a sudden you find the boat's not turning up right. That really wasn't even one of the problems. So this form has found a lot of work for us. Prior to this form, what do you think the two main things we always found wrong with the boat when you took it out for a test run? One, a gauge didn't work. The second thing, the stereo didn't work or a speaker was bad. Why? Because what is the first thing a tech does when he goes for a test run? Turns on the stereo, right? So now we're getting finding more things. Okay. And actually, this is we have another form. It's called a trade appraisal. This is not anywhere near the detail of a trade appraisal, but it gives you a lot of information. Okay, so what is our best idea? Really, nothing here is a best idea. You all should be doing all of this stuff. Okay, our idea was to incorporate that upselling, if you want to call it, or trying to make a customer happy by integrating it into our culture. We're spread over 7.5 acres, getting everybody involved in it, making the forms so that you can get the right information based on where you are. And it's really taking all the ideas we've all learned over these years and putting them into the realities of our cultures and finding extra work. And we got to remember, we'll never get that hour we lost, but by finding these bits and pieces, this is probably the most efficient work you'll get while you're doing this kind of stuff. And one last little, we put little characters around the marina. I like this one the most. How many people come in to get something done and don't get their impeller changed very often, and you come in and done something and change the oil, the next thing the guy goes out, he's got his family or some business guy in, and the impeller goes and he's overheated it. So we have that little character on the back of the screens for all the service riders. So just a fun idea. So anyway, that's our idea of putting things together in the realities of your environment. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chuck. And speaking last, we'll have Christina talking about what they've done at Seattle Boat Company and with their boat pooling partnership.
Hello. I'm so nervous. I'm behind the scenes. I'm never really front of house, so excuse me if I hide behind this podium slowly. So my name's Christina. I'm with Seattle Boat Company out of Seattle, Washington, and we were selected due to our boat pooling concept. Boat pooling was a cross-promotional campaign that we came up with. We invited Uber, which was referenced earlier, the pretty hip car service people you order up on your app, to assist us. And it was sort of a solution for a major traffic problem Seattleites were about to face, termed the carpocalypse. And in Seattle, we have like just a few major highways, freeways. One was about to shut down from 5 lanes to 1, coming in westward into the city. So we thought we would offer our boat-owning customers the opportunity to get launched on the east side, boat into Seattle, and enjoy free moorage for the day, have Uber pick them up, take them wherever they're going. We had them invite their friends, so it was kind of like a fun way to deal with a pretty serious traffic issue. But before I go further, the major, and I already lost my clicker, the major result was actually PR and positive press, not just happy customers, because it actually rained all that week anyway, so it wasn't so much about this promotion, but we got some very positive press over it. So what I really want to talk about is PR, what it is. I'm going to show you examples of boating-related PR that you can hopefully get inspired by, and then give you a few ideas as to how you can go back to your area and basically get involved. But before we go on, I want to start with a test to see if you can recognize PR from advertising, marketing, or branding. So everyone look at this slide. You can yell your answers out or talk amongst yourselves. The gentleman is saying, I am a great lover. So is that marketing, advertising, branding, or PR? Marketing. I'm a great lover. I'm a great lover. I'm a great lover. Advertising. I understand you're a great lover. Branding, his reputation precedes him, right? And then trust me, he's a great lover. There's your PR. And we think it's pretty powerful. So, let's see. This is the sort of blasé explanation. What is PR to us? Essentially, in a nutshell, it's having good press that you don't have to pay for. It's when someone else is saying how great you are. So I brought with me a compilation of boating-related news clips. It was furnished to me by our local Marine Trade Association. And again, I hope that it inspires you to think about ways that you can get involved.
We have so much water around here, If you have access to a boat, lucky you.
There are so many great ways to learn to sail this summer.
Oh, Joyce, take a look at this view of downtown Seattle right now.
You can't beat those views.
But we weren't here to shoot a music video. We're here to learn to sail.
Absolutely. It's a great way for the family and friends to get together and enjoy Puget Sound. It's beautiful.
There's no better place to be than the Pacific Northwest when it's nice like this.
And this guy is sick. Check out this trick right here.
The first weekend of September, they sell out with 1,000 anglers. 1,000 anglers fishing today, looking for the biggest coho.
Hey everybody, Chip Hanauer, the boat guy. I'm out here in front of Edmonds for the Edmonds Coho Salmon Derby. Okay, we've been out shrimping, we've been out crabbing in that boat right there.
Yeah.
And tell me how that boat's going to be given away.
Well, the beauty of having this boat, and this is boat number 10 that I will give away.
Crabbing season is underway here in Western Washington.
This morning, we're hanging out here on Elliott Bay talking about crabbing, the rules, the regulations, what you need to know to make sure that you're doing this properly.
From this end down to here is 6 1/4. Now, you think that crab is legal?
On that, now Joyce and Mark, do you guys crab? Are you crabbers?
I grew up crabbing actually around Bellingham, so yes, indeed.
Out on Lake Washington, talking about this awesome sport that looks very much.
But we weren't here to shoot a music video. We're here to learn to sail.
So let's talk to people out there. If you've got a boat, you're going to get out on the lake this summer, and you're taught by women. It's for women. It is also the beginning of summer, which means people
can learn. We start pretty basic.
Use a boat whenever you want.
Here on Elliott.
Hopefully you see a little bit of what maybe your company does in our industry in some of these clips, because we all bring something different to the table, but there's a little bit of public relations available to each of us. And at Seattle Boat, once we realized just what PR could really do, we started intentionally thinking about ways that we could generate PR for ourselves. And I can assure you, some of our initial ideas, and even still to this day, we get denied. You cannot outright promote your business. That's a commercial. You have to pay for that. They don't care about your super cool test drive coming up. It's more about what affects the general population, providing a solution to a problem, public safety, and hopefully you can think of, life jackets. I mean, there's just so many ways this is part of what we do. But with the solution to a problem, let me take you back to our initial concept, which was Uber, boat pooling, and I'll actually show you the press that we enjoyed as a result of our efforts.
Working for you. KOMO 4 News starts right now.
Well, ready or not, the construction crunch on westbound I-90 is expected to create major delays tomorrow. It could be so bad an Amazon employee is getting out of the carpool lane and boat pooling it to work. KOMO 4's Kristen Drew is live with more on what you can expect during tomorrow's commute. Hey, Kristen.
Russ, WashDOT says there were no significant slowdowns this weekend on I-90, but tomorrow will be the real test. That's why the Seattle Boat Company is offering free moorage this week to its east side customers so they can avoid all the congestion.
It'll be interesting to see actually what happens.
Jamie Lomas usually commutes to work by car.
It's a smooth sail.
But tomorrow, the Amazon employee is boat pooling to avoid the I-90 expansion joint replacement project.
So I got an email from Seattle Boat Company and they said, would you like to commute by boat? And since I have a couple people that I carpool with, we thought it would be fun to give it a try.
Lomas is leaving home at 6 in the morning, 45 minutes earlier than a typical day. He's driving from Snoqualmie Ridge to the Newport Yacht Club in Bellevue, and from there, he'll get on his boat and sail to the Seattle Boat Company on North Lake Union.
I hope to kind of zip along the bridge and watch everyone stuck in traffic while I'm going on the lake.
Throughout the week, westbound I-90 is reduced to 1 lane at Bellevue Way Southeast and 3 lanes across the East Channel Bridge. A WashDOT spokeswoman says the replacement project is necessary because the existing joints are 33 years old. Normally, the lifespan is 25 to 30.
Obviously, because this is a major interstate, we do want to get this one done as quickly as we possibly can.
WashDOT expects backups this week could extend 7 miles or more. It could take drivers more than an hour to get into Seattle.
If they have a really good trip today, you know, things go, don't assume that, oh, that's the way it's going to be for the rest of the week.
I don't think it's going to save necessarily a lot of time, but I think it's going to be a lot more fun than sitting in traffic.
Traffic that Lomas will completely avoid a couple days this week by working from home. For him, boat pooling is just a novelty.
Hopefully it doesn't rain and it's a smooth sail across the lake.
And once the boat gets to the North Lake Union Marina, then Uber is offering those customers 50% off their ride to work. In the meantime, WashDOT expects Tuesday will be the busiest day for drivers because the president will be in town, and there's also a Mariners game in the evening. We're live in Seattle. Kristen Drew, KOMO 4 News.
Okay. There are measurable, there's measurable value to something like this. We think this is severely low, but airtime, times the Nielsen audience, essentially, it was just under $5,000 for the actual airspace. But really, at the end of the day, what's the real value? We have a seemingly objective person in, the public media telling everybody that we're a creative, solution-oriented, hip, cool boating company, and that we think is, at least that's what I interpreted from her. And the bonus, so cross-marketing with somebody that everybody recognizes obviously has its perks. Uber has a major blog audience, so they blogged about it. They put links to our company, and, I know they tweeted about it and whatnot, so there's all of that lovely stuff. But we didn't think for a second we would sell a boat based on this boat pooling concept. It was more of a value add to our customers. And a brand enhancement sort of project, but I want to show you a very small clip of a project that did actually result in direct sales, because we all do appreciate something measurable. This particular promotion is from 2013. It's called Babes on Boards, and the initiative was to get more women basically on the water. It's a wake surf class, so the women surfing behind a boat, taught by women only, so it's a very sort of like, just relax with us kind of a class. It was open to the general public, and the media loved it. So we got a little bit of a nice fluffy piece.
It used to be you had to live on the coast to go surfing. These days, though, you can surf on any lake you want. It's called wake surfing. Christy Johnson is on Lake Washington to show us how.
You are watching right now Holly doing wake surfing, and Katie right behind her on the left. This is a sport you can do on a lake, and you are actually surfing. If you take a look at her feet here, there are no bindings on her feet. This is a surfboard that she's on. And Ashleen, we are in Lake Washington. Nobody would ever assume that you could surf in a lake. We normally have to go to Hawaii or somewhere, California, to do that.
Yeah, isn't it awesome? I mean, just sitting here in the scenery, looking all around, it's a beautiful day.
Let's talk about the difference between this and wakeboarding, because as you can...
All right, I'll stop right there. That thing was nearly 4 minutes long. And literally the series filled up for the rest of the summer. The next summer we didn't advertise much at all, just like let people know, like, here's the link, and it was on fire. And I asked what our sales result was so I could share that with you. And we had 5 direct sales, including we have a boat club, which features the boats that have, these surfing, the ability to surf behind. So anyways, new boat club members, marine attendants also. So that's measurable. That's a big deal. The total revenue was over $250,000 as a result of, really sweat equity and creative thinking. So what can you guys do? You guys can go home and start thinking about how to get involved. We think getting the right PR firm or a consultant or a contact or just somebody to help guide you through the process. We work very directly with a specialist, a consultant who works with our local Marine Trade Association. We're very lucky. It's a large association. It's very active, very healthy. So she loves to have us be like, what do you think about this? Because then she in turn can take it to her contacts and say, would you work with this? It's the media monster. My partner Jan said it's the monster. It's insatiable. They need content, right? They constantly need content. So if you're available to provide great ideas, perfect. Got to learn to pitch, though. You got to have the ability to recognize what's usable and what's promoting your business outright, because they will not take your calls for too long if that's all that you guys can come up with, right? So become a reliable source of really good, usable content, and then repeat the process. So year-round and seasonal, what's going on in your area, from boat shows to crabbing, the salmon derby, to boat races, to whatever it is, how can you get involved? Know your strengths. We sell luxury runabouts. We're not going to be part of the salmon derby. There's just no way that makes sense. So, and then making yourself available. There are plenty of times we're out on the water with a reporter in our boat, filming whatever they need. We never get airtime, but we scratch their backs. They'll take our calls and take us a little bit more seriously. This could be you, man behind the curtain. So anyways, hopefully you guys have taken away a few ideas and understand what the true benefit is of getting involved in the PR and media process. Thank you.
All right, we do have a few minutes for questions. If you have a question, please just raise your hand and we'll bring a mic over to you so that everyone can hear your question. Great, we got one up front here.
Chuck, you talked about having your techs talking to your service managers if they, if they uncovered a problem immediately, and then you mentioned a 15-minute review period. Can you expand on that a little bit? Can you explain what's involved in that 15-minute review, what you're saying to the client?
Yeah. If you have service writers or you have service managers that are talking to customers, one of the biggest issues you have at times is being able to answer the question of the customer who's calling in. You don't want to always bring a tech off a job. We found, we have a lot of techs obviously, and we have a lot of different work orders going on every day. 1 or 2 in every service bay. So there's probably 25 to 30 things going on every day. We don't want to drag the tech in. So at the end of their shift or the end of their cycle, we bring them in 15 minutes at the end of the day. They might have had 2 or 3 work orders they were working on. They can finish their notes out, and whoever gets great notes from a tech, right? Yeah, right. It's helped them with their notes. They bring in the things they might have found that day. The service writer says, "Oh yeah, by the way, did you notice the prop was bent? The guy that picked the boat up yesterday and brought it to you put it on the Botel list." And so before the job is done, if it's not one of those quick jobs, the service writer now knows what's going on, what the tech found, what maybe somebody else found and related to the tech. And those 15 minutes, and it sounds like you're wasting 15 minutes of 15 or 16 people, has been very, very helpful to us, because now the next morning, the service writer can contact the customers. If the customer calls in, he'll have a better status of what's going on. So that's been a great thing that we started a few years ago, and it's paid off, even though we've stopped work. Is that clear? Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Matt, you had referred to a Google review page, and I was just wondering, is that a user-friendly thing to do? Do you need to contact Google directly and have them assist you, and is it expensive?
No, it's a free page that Google offers every business in the world. Google your dealership name, and then somewhere on there's a link that says like claim listing or something, and you go in there and you can fill out all the information on your dealership. You can put up pictures of your deliveries and list your phone number and all that stuff. And then even before you do that, your customers can Google you and they can list a review even if you don't have that done. But claiming your Google business page, it'll help your search rankings, and it will also kind of help you brand and help you sell your dealership. When they just search your name, they're going to get something more than just, yeah, this is a boat dealership. They're going to get the picture and the description and all that I showed you.
Other questions from anyone?
Matt, you mentioned that someone calls your customer prior to sending the email requesting the review. Who does that? Is it the salesman of the boat? Is there one person at the dealership? Who does the calling?
Yeah, I was a salesperson. This is just something that I did as a salesperson at Hall Marine. So I'm the one that made the call, and I think it should be the salesperson. When I coach dealers on this, I think it's the salesperson because they have the relationship, and they're the ones that should be continuing that relationship on for future sales. And then once you get Matt, we love the boat. It's awesome. 7 days later, after you don't want to make it be like, oh, you love the boat. You get the email in 2 minutes. About a week later, send that out, and then you'll get that type of review. And it's almost 100% if you do a really good job that they'll do it for you.
Other questions?
Let me add something to that if you don't, Jonathan.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
It's not just boat sales. We follow up on every, I want to say every service work order. And that probably doesn't happen, but at least on the major service work orders, we always do something similar to that from not just the sales side, but from the service side. And the service writer is calling back 5 days, 7 days, something like that, to make sure everything went well with the service. Because typically the ones you see here, and if you even saw Matt's, it's more of a service issue that you find that's out there because they bought a new boat. Most of the time they really love what they did. So it's a service issue, so our service writers do some of that.
Matt, I have a question. You're talking about Google.
There you go. All right.
And what other sites do you typically use? I mean, are you using Yahoo reviews or other review sites, and are you just switching up your web page you're sending them to?
Yeah, I set up, one of the things I did for Hall Marine was set up their online dealership. And so Yelp and Yellow Pages and Yahoo and all that stuff, all you got to do is switch out that link. You use that same email and you direct them to. But Google, Google's the big player. That's the highest mountain in all of the reviews. So that's what I use 90% of the time. And you've got on some of them you got to sign in and create a username, and that can kind of reduce the participation. So most people have a Google account. And that's what I use most often.
So, Chuck, we have like a lot of people that have been longtime customers, and we're so used to taking care of their boat that the check sheets don't take that long. But I see like some of our techs get frustrated because it can take an hour or so, and we pay on a bonus program. How do you pay on a bonus program, I assume, with your technicians? And how do you still incentivize them to complete a really full, complete check sheet?
Okay, so let me repose the question, make sure I understand it. You're concerned about the time it takes to do the courtesy check because of the bonus programs. Is that correct?
I think technicians get in that mode sometimes. Yes.
Okay. We do have bonus programs, and I'm a very we have a thing called collectible efficiency, which is different from productivity, but that's a whole different subject. But yes, we do have that issue. But what we find is that once you establish a culture of doing it, because most of the time when a tech is doing something, they're starting an engine, it's got to warm up, they've got to do some things where there's always some time, okay, during a work order where they can do some of that stuff. And sometimes they're looking at a gauge and they're looking at an RPM gauge and they can do other things. So our culture made it easier. But what helped them is that when they find other things, the efficiency of those things they find helps them, and we pay on. And to answer your question, they're finding more work for themselves. It usually is done more efficiently, so it's going to help based on how we pay on productivity. One of the things, if they're in really big jobs and they're really focused, you notice I also have helpers and I also have apprentices, and some of the kids out of MMI and stuff like that. If they got a helper, sometimes they'll let the helper go check the lights and put to do some of that work. So it's if you don't have a culture of it, they're resistant. And when we started it, I had the same resistance until they saw that it's going to generate more work and help their productivity. Does that make sense? Am I answering your question?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
All right. Well, we are just about out of time, so can we get another hand for our panelists today?